June 6th, and so tonight would be to hold the public hearing, hold and dispense with the final reading of proposed ordinance number 1533, and then take a vote or consider adopting proposed ordinance 1533.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? All right, we're in the public hearing. It's 8:09. If you wish to speak on proposed ordinance 1533, please come up, state your name, your home address. David O.
David O., 602 North 9th Street, Executive Director of Brainerd Community Action. Just for the public record, I want to make sure that we are on the record as saying the exact same thing as I said on the last one. If you want me to repeat it, I can, but Community Action just wants to thank you for the opportunity and hope that we can find a way to work through any questions we may have during our contract time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishes to speak? Come on up. State your name and address and tell us what you think of this.
Kathy Tusa, 14075 Firewood Drive, Baxter. I'm one of those. I'm also president of the board of the center this year, and ditto on everything Deanne said before, and also on the fact that this was voted on by the public, and for half a dozen members of the Charter Commission and you 8 folks here being able to throw it out without real public input, and I mean on a ballot for people to look at. You already changed the funding a little bit, and I think that it should be voted on by more than just you. No disrespect intended. And also, in a previous meeting, I heard concerns about benefiting people outside the city of Brainerd, and the center does have members from surrounding communities, but when those folks come to town, come to the center, they don't just come to the center. They shop, they buy groceries, gas, whatever. So it's not just benefiting Brainerd. I mean, it's not just benefiting the center, it's benefiting the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else in line. Oh, come on up. Look. Doesn't appear there's a lot of speakers, so you can take 15 minutes, but that'll end everybody's time.
Deanne Berry, 18610 Smith Road, Brainerd, Minnesota. I am director of the center, 803 Kingwood Street. We are very thankful for the years we have worked with the Brainerd City Council, the City of Brainerd, and the funding we have received since 1983. 1983 maybe seems like a real long time ago to some of you. To some of us, it doesn't seem like so long ago. But there are documents in existence that have real relevance today that are a whole lot older. So I ask you to consider the relevance of our area of the charter as well. State of Minnesota Constitution was established in 1858. United States Constitution, 1778. Declaration of Independence, 1776. Old documents, some are written in calligraphy. This area of the charter was handpicked on a typewriter. But to us, it is very relevant, and I ask you to leave it in place and to allow the funding to be to one organization. We have no problem coming in and reporting what we do with your funding. Any questions? One of my members offered a tour. Some of you have not been inside our doors. Please come in. There are lots of great things that happen Monday through Friday, sometimes on a weekend. Come and help us. We'd love to have you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Deanne. Anybody else wish to add to what has been said? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing at 8:13. Next up, we are going to look for a motion for the final reading of proposed ordinance 1533, an ordinance amending the Brainerd City Charter.
So moved, Johnson.
Motion by Johnson. Is there a second?
Second, Erickson.
Second by Erickson. Any discussion on the final reading? Any discussion on the final reading?
Mr. President.
Yep. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I believe that we already know which way this is going to go because we've already been told at the previous meeting. I will say that I sat in the charter meeting for this discussion. It was not my idea. It was brought up by another member, and I was on the fence about it. I have never seen an issue with the center. I never saw one at all before any of this stuff was even discussed. It was a process of cleaning up the charter, and fairness was not in that section. So that was a language change. That was nothing. But what happened was, when the language change was proposed, that information was misconstrued by you, Ms. Berry, and the entire organization came after the council as if we were canceling the center. And that didn't come around until after everything had already been set. All you guys had to do was present your contract, and there it was. And now we're at a point, because of all these things that have happened since then, where we're talking about just getting rid of this entire section of the charter. And I think it's partially because people don't want to deal with that again. Now, this isn't going to pass, I can tell you that right now. But I think what needs to be discussed, because this isn't going to pass, is, one, this was a referendum. I totally agree with you, 100%. I don't remember the year. Was it 1982? 83? And community action was a referendum. So if we're going to question those, maybe moving forward, we send to the charter a question whether or not we put those back on as a referendum. As for the ARB, we've already given direction on that. I don't even know where we've gotten on with that committee that we were supposed to form. I haven't heard. But we already have direction on that. So that's just my 2 cents going forward, because I know which way this is going to go today. So that's all.
Thank you, Mr. O'Day. Any further discussion? Any further discussion?
Mr. President, I believe we're still on the reading.
Yep. Yep, still on the reading. Any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Now we're looking for a motion to adopt ordinance 1533.
So move, Johnson.
Motion by Johnson, is there a second?
Second, Erickson.
Second by Erickson. Now we're discussing the adoption of the ordinance. Okay? This is a charter amendment, so it must pass unanimously to be enacted. Hearing no further, we're up. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Stephanie Stingline.
I intend to vote no on this. I think that, first of all, we as elected officials need to put our egos behind us when we consider things like this. It is our job to interact with the public and to explain things that are happening when people are questioning or confused. It is very confusing, some of the things that we do. But more importantly, I firmly believe that government is how we as a community come together and accomplish things that we want to do. And it has been made clear to me over the last several months that these organizations and funding them, that is something that we as a community want to do. So I will be voting no.
Thank you, Tiffany. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none. We have a motion, we have a second. It must pass unanimously. Administrator Berglund, please call the roll.
Stengline?
No.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry.
But-
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
No.
Stunek?
No.
Johnson?
Yep.
Pritchett?
No.
Stengline?
No again.
Evans?
Are you sure, Tiffany? I'll vote yes. And that motion fails. So the part I was trying to get with you while we're on these charter amendments, there was a discussion of the committee on the ARB. Can you do that during your report?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I can.
All right, thank you. Perfect. We'll move on to item C, which is the call for applicants. First up is the Honorable Mayor Bedot.
Holy heck. All right, call for applicants is somewhere on this sheet of paper. Here we go. The following applications are available on our website, ci.brainerd.mn.us/boards. We have the following committee seats available. Cable TV Advisory Committee, 2 terms expiring 2022, 1 term expiring 2024. Charter Commission, it sounds like we have slots available, and it sounds like we have things to talk about. 2 slots available, 1 term expiring 2022 and 1 term expiring 2025. Rental Dwelling License Board of Appeals, 2 terms expiring 2022. We also have 2 terms on the EDA, 1 expiring 2022 and 1 expiring 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and as council president, I have 1 term on the planning commission to expire 2023, and the Water Tower Fundraising Committee has 1 position. Item 9 is new business. Item 9A is consideration of variance from setback standards at 523 or 521 North 9th Street. Mr. Granvik, anything you wish to add to what's in our packet?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So Sarah Hayden Shaw is requesting a reduced front yard setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a proposed addition to the house. This request is so essentially the addition lines up with the current front of the home. The Planning Commission determined that the variance request for the reduced setback is consistent with the historic neighborhood and voted unanimously to recommend granting the requested variance without conditions.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Is there a motion on this variance request?
Move to approve.
Move to
Second,
approve
Erickson.
Pritchett, second Erickson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 9B is a consideration of variance from setback standards at 704 Norwood Street. Again, Mr. Kramvik, anything you wish to add to what's in our packet?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Dave Bennett, on behalf of Youth Investment Foundation, is requesting a side yard setback reduction from 20 feet to 1 foot and a reduced rear yard setback from 20 feet to 2 feet for a proposed accessory structure. The proposed accessory structure would be a garage, 24 by 28 feet. It is needed for the storage of 2 vans and recreational equipment for the youth center. Through discussion from the Planning Commission, has determined that the utilities on site posed a difficulty from situating the structure elsewhere on the site. The Commission voted unanimously to recommend granting the requested variance with condition that staff approves a stormwater management plan that diverts stormwater from the neighboring south and east properties that will result from the construction of the accessory structure.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Hearing none, is there a motion to move on the variance?
Motion to approve, Erickson.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by O'Day. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next up is the interim ordinance 1534, consideration for an interim ordinance instituting a moratorium. Mr. Kramvik, something you'd like to explain this to us on?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So staff was approached by concerned citizens about the removal of single-family homes in our residential neighborhoods, essentially for the construction of parking lots and green space. So as many of you are aware, the city currently has a shortage of housing, particularly affordable housing. Removal of dwelling units for the establishment of green space or surface parking adds to that overall shortage for the city. So staff wanted to make council aware and is requesting time to study this issue with the Planning Commission. So proposed ordinance 1534 would impose a 6-month moratorium on the conversion of dwelling units to green space or surface parking in the R1 zoning district.
Any questions of staff? Any questions of staff? Hearing none, is there a motion to hold the first reading of proposed ordinance 1534, an interim ordinance placing a temporary moratorium on prohibiting the conversion of dwellings to green space or surface parking in the R1 single-family residential district, and also dispense with the actual reading?
So move, Johnson.
Motion by Johnson, second by Stunek. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next up is the first reading of proposed ordinance 1534, amending the city code, section 515, zoning code, and the zoning map. Section 515 is the zoning code. Mr. Kramvik.
Yes,
We're
thank you,
getting good
Mr.
at this.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. So this comes before City Council tonight as a first reading. I'd like to give kind of a brief summary of some of the revisions that we've gone through these past couple of months. I'd also like to start by thanking everyone that has been involved in the proposed zoning code update. The Planning Commission, City Council, and the Mayor, our consultants Jennifer and Mike. Many city staff have been involved in this, as well as the public for all their engagement in this process. So the revisions to the proposed zoning code have been thoroughly reviewed by the Planning Commission after hearing concerns from the public and council. Changes have been made these past couple of months that certainly are a benefit to the proposed zoning code. Just to give you a brief summary of what happened, staff did send out letters informing potentially unaware property owners of zoning changes that may affect their property. Planning Commission reviewed these properties as well as over 70 parcels and heard from the concerned property owners before making recommendations for the zoning district for those parcels. Planning Commission also recommended extending the Main Street District 1 block south. As a reminder, the Main Street District does not allow for first floor residential. The extension encompassed many one-story existing commercial buildings and did not create any non-conforming residential structures by extending the Main Street District. Also, at the June 15th Planning Commission meeting.
Can I have you hold on, James?
Yep.
Can we have the people with the cell phones leave the room? As a courtesy, please. If you've got a cell phone and you don't know how to shut it off, can I ask you to leave the room? Sorry. Please, it's just multiple times now. No, just step out so it doesn't ring again. Thank you, James. Go ahead, please proceed.
Sorry about the interruption.
Yep. Thank you. So one last thing, at the June 15th meeting, the Planning Commission made one final recommendation of including residential uses in the PSP district, the public semi-public district. The PSP district, among other things, includes colleges, hospitals, places of worship, as well as community centers that may need the potential for residential uses. So as proposed, any residential use in this district must be accessory to the primary use and obtain a conditional use permit. The Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on the proposed zoning code during their meeting on June 15th and recommended to accept the proposed zoning code as presented with all marked additions and corrections. Also wanted to note that if the proposed ordinance does come to council as a second reading, our consultants from SHC will be present to answer questions. Jennifer is online tonight if you do have any questions of her tonight, and City Council would hold a public hearing for that.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Any questions of staff? Hearing none, this is a motion to hold the first reading on proposed ordinance 1535. Is there a motion to hold that reading?
Is there an opportunity for someone to comment?
No.
I'll
So move Johnson.
Second.
Public hearing at the second reading.
Second.
Okay? Johnson, motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Erickson. Johnson. comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to verify that we will have a public hearing at the second reading, because I don't think we're legally required to.
Correct.
But I think it is helpful for the citizens to be given that opportunity.
Yes, we will have a public hearing at the second reading on the zoning.
Thank you.
All right. Good question. Any other questions on the first reading? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries unanimously. Next up. Where did we just go? First reading, down to the bottom, flipping over. This is the public forum section. So this is where you get to speak, if you choose, to anything that we have not spoken with on tonight's agenda. Time limits, we like to keep it within 1 to 3 minutes. So if you'd like to speak on something that we have not discussed this evening, please come forward, step up to the microphone, state your name and your home address, and we will open the public forum at 8:28 p.m. Come on up.
Good evening, everyone. Candace Zimmerman, Director of Northland Arboretum. My home address is 10246 County Road 44, and address of Northland Arboretum is 14250 Conservation Drive. And I just wanted to give a update on our work group. So that is the reason I'm here tonight. I did get a agreement from Jennifer Bergman to participate in that work group, as well as from Brad at the City of Baxter, City Administrator, and a respectful decline from the County Administrator, Mr. Hool, Tim Hool. So progress is in the works for developing that work group, and we just need to set a date, and we will be moving forward. And I welcome any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Got that, Mike?
I did.
Good. Anybody else who wishes to speak on anything we have not discussed tonight? Anybody? Anybody online? John? Does she have her hand up? Oh, well, she might. She might want to speak on something, the splash pad or something, I don't know. All right, we will close the public forum at 8:29 and move on to staff reports. Anything from the attorney's office? No, sir. Anything from the planning office?
Nothing to add.
From the engineering and public works office? From the finance director office?
We're still looking for election judges. We only have about 27 judges signed up for training, and we need about 50. So if we can, anybody interested in serving as an election judge need to be over the age of 18, but we can have trainee judges. So any interest at all, please sign up. Thank you.
Okay. Anything from IT, GIS?
No, nothing.
Police department?
Nothing, Mr. President.
All right. Jennifer Haskamp, anything you want to say from the hired on staff? She's gone. I get that. She's picking up sticks in my yard. And our Administrator Bergman.
Just a couple of quick updates. I had the opportunity last week to attend the Flag Day ceremony with Mayor Badeau. Just a really nice ceremony that they held over at the county. Also attended the Here for Good market, and the chamber did their business after hours, so another great event. And then also did WJJY's Community Focus, and I assume that the chair of our EDA will be giving an update on the Main Street Revitalization Program and the subcommittee. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. We'll move on to 13, the council committee reports. We'll start in the middle with P&F Chairman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As Jennifer alluded to, the EDA was asked by the Initiative Foundation to be the entity that helps put together an application and decide where the Main Street grant relief funds are spent. So we appointed a subcommittee made up of Bruce Buxton from River to Rail, Marie Kirsch from DDBC, Mary Devine Johnson from Brainerd Restoration, Dave Badeau from the City of Brainerd, and Kevin Yeager as an EDA representative. And they've met once, and we're actually going to, I think Jennifer called a special meeting, because now tonight we approved another $80,000 in additional grants to be awarded by that subcommittee, and we're really excited to be moving forward with that. And we're hoping we get all the applications possible. So they were awarded $4.5 million at Initiative Foundation. And they allocated about $770,000 to Brainerd. But if we get applications over and above that, and other communities do not, they may pull some of that money and put it into additional projects in Brainerd. So we're going to get all the businesses and all the people possible applying for those grant dollars. And then one final thing, I heard from a constituent, and Paul, I never did call you back on this, I'm sorry, but I heard from a constituent at 513 Southeast 12th Street, and he seems to believe that the city did some road work and alleyway work this last year, and it has diverted water into his basement, and he's flooded a couple times since that work was done. So, Mr. President, if we could get this on like the Safety and Public Works agenda for the next meeting to address the issue.
You bet we can.
Well, thanks.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right. SP&W Chair O'Day.
I have nothing to add tonight. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Pritchett.
I have nothing to report.
Mr. Stunek.
I'm good tonight.
Mr. Erickson.
Sir.
Tiffany Stengline.
Nope.
And I have nothing to add, so next up is, Mayor Bedell.
There we go, slowing it
You
down.
gotta talk for at least 20 minutes before so the storm goes
Slowing
over.
it down. All right.
Sticks in my yard, I want to complain.
Well, one of the items we're going to talk about is Gregory Park, so we'll just go through this super fast. Brainerd Community Action has 3 events going on 3 weekends in a row that I will be involved with. The skate event happened this last Saturday. Just want to say thank you to city staff for getting all that stuff squared away. We stole a couple picnic tables from Kiwanis. I hope that those made their way back there. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you that or not, but we stole a couple picnic tables. I hope we brought them back. Went great. Fantastic event for those guys. The big news, they received a $13,000 check. I take that back, a $10,000 and another $3,000, both from Reggie at Klaus Stamping. So that was a very successful event for them. He stopped by to see everything that was going on, so that was a lot of fun. Secondly, Arts in the Park, going on at Gregory Park this Sunday from 10 to 4. I just got some text messages. Gregory Park is down quite a few big trees. So we'll have some cleanup to do this week to get us back on track. But we'll be in there and we'll be having a great day next Sunday, so come join us. And then lastly, don't know if you saw the news today, but the 4th of July parade was announced, and we are going in reverse this year, thanks to the school district, and thanks to their tearing up my road that I asked them not to do, but we'll have a sour words later on. We are starting at Mickey's. We are traveling right here to this corner here on South 5th Street. We're going to come to Laurel Street. We're going to take a left. I know that's weird for people. We're going to be turning the opposite direction this year. We're going to go down Laurel Street, then we're going to take a left on East River Road, and we're going to go down the hill this year, which I have some gentlemen from the Color Guard for the VFW, which will probably be very happy that that is the case this year, as we are not starting by walking up a giant hill in the hot heat. So we will be ending at the end of the stadium. So a little different. Parking will be a little bit of an issue. We understand that. Getting down there will be a little bit of an issue, but we're trying to work through that as best as possible and communicate where those parking spaces are so that people can find their way down to that celebration. So again, we are starting at Mickey's, we are ending at the football stadium, and then you can join us for relay races, family relay races at 8 p.m. Katie Kaufman will be working with us from the Parks Department, as well as a couple members of my board, putting on some fun events. And then, of course, 10:15, the wonderful fireworks. Thank you to the city. Thank you to the city of Baxter. But more so, thank you to our sponsors. And the top 3, we are being presented by Dunmeyer's, Mills Automotive, and Visit Brainerd. Thank you to all of them for donating for that fun cause. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be really hot, of course, as always. But hopefully this reverse route will get us down into the shade a little bit, and people can enjoy. So, end of report.
God, it's past 8:30.
What's that?
Nothing.
I think I have parade neck if I'm looking the wrong way. All right, we're looking for a motion to adjourn to the City Council and Public Utilities Commission Joint Workshop, Monday, the June 27th at 5 p.m. Motion by Stunek.
Second.
Second by Johnson. Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, ayes. That motion